Hi, my name's Julia, and I want you to feel good. Today, I want to talk about the fact that you don't need to be the prettiest girl in the room. Have you ever walked down the street? You're walking, you're feeling pretty confident, like you feel like, wow, I feel good, you know? Like you imagine in your head, like people turning their heads when you walk past them, and you're like, yes. And then suddenly, you see a drop dead gorgeous woman. In your point of view, she's like everything. The first thing you notice is usually what you feel insecure about within yourself, because that's where comparison comes in. Let's say that you feel insecure about your posture. Your eyes are gonna automatically go to her posture. When noticing her, do you start noticing the feature that she has, and do you start comparing those features to your features? In other words, are you also looking for your insecurities in her and seeing and inspecting how well she meets those demands that you have on yourself in comparison to yourself? Oh, she has so much better posture than me, or oh, she has so much more. In other words, did you automatically go to comparison? I think that we put so much anxiety, energy, and worrying into our looks, our exterior attributes. How many times a day do you have a thought regarding your appearance? Like, it's almost impossible to look in the mirror without having a thought about your appearance. How large of a percentage of those thoughts are actually nice ones? Putting effort into your looks, like, that's not a bad thing. That's amazing. Like, when you start viewing yourself critically in comparison to others, that's when I think that we need to start checking ourselves more. Like, mentally checking ourselves. Like, hey, what kind of thought was that? And do you want to have that thought? Because our inner world should be a place of love and acceptance and calm and peace, not a place of critique, shame, and self-dwelling. So growing up, many of us watched Disney princesses such as Cinderella or Belle, or these, 2000s rom-com and coming-of-age movies. For example, Mean Girls, a classic one. We have Regina George, ultimate pretty mean girl of them all. From an early age, we were constantly fed with the same narrative. To be special, to be desirable, to get your dream life, to receive that unique love, you should be the prettiest girl in the room. But what did that narrative really do to us when internalizing it from such a young age? To not be like other girls, to be the most pretty, the most desirable in the room, keeps us in a stage of competition with other women. We're in this competitive state unconsciously, where we value ourselves from our attractiveness, assuming that also the outside world does the same. And also, side note, if you yourself always compare yourself to other people when you walk down the street and you're like, well, at least I'm prettier than her, or like that. When you judge people on their looks, of course you can't censor your mind, but when you constantly have that on your head, like the comparison of looks, even if it is that, oh, I look better than her, or anything like that, you're also going to think that people judge you that way, because that's going to be your world that you live in. And do you really want that? If you judge, if you compare, you're also going to think that other people do that, and that's going to stress you out, because then you always feel like you're always being watched, because it's always on your mind. But when you try to decentralize that from your mind, you're gonna have so much time. So I had this amazing conversation with a friend where we talked about how we as women are trained to seek male validation and male confirmation based on our looks. We both were so tired of it. We were like, why are we doing this? Because we do it without even thinking about it. From what I mentioned earlier, like, we've been taught this from the movies that we watched from when we were babies. We do it without even thinking about it. And we were like, it drives us crazy, because it does drive me crazy. So how do we stop? Well, what she said was that, you know what? She was like, well, sometimes I tell myself, I'm just like, well, I guess I'm ugly. And I was like, what are you saying? You're like, she's drop dead gorgeous. Like, this girl is not ugly. What she meant is that it gives less power to your appearance, and especially the perception of your appearance. Saying it like, well, I guess I'm ugly. Anyways, what's for lunch? Not saying ugly as if it's a bad word, but more saying it like, well, I guess this shirt is blue, and I guess that this shirt is green. Anyways, I would like a red shirt. It doesn't hold power, it doesn't hold significance. Putting appearance in an objective light rather than in a subjective one. Knowing that, of course, you're not ugly, but letting go of that constant desire to have your beauty confirmed by others. She said that it saved brain capacity to her, and then she could focus on stuff that mattered more to her. That's one way of dealing with it. I'm not saying that it's the right one, that it's gonna work for everyone, but I think it's worth giving it a shot. It's kind of like a technique that you can use to handle compulsive or intrusive thoughts sometimes. Like, oh wow, that's a crazy thought. Anyways, like not giving it power or significance because it's really just a thought. Like not giving power to every feeling and every thought that you get. Because by instinct, we will start comparing ourselves to other women. We have so many thoughts daily that come up. And we can choose which ones that we give power to. So much in the brain, it just happens on autopilot. When we direct our brain into another pathway enough times, then we're gonna automatically start going there. And then we don't need to compare ourselves so much. Then it's not gonna happen so much because it's not gonna happen naturally anymore. We base our value on our exterior so much. We put so much energy and anxiety into that. The statement of, well, I guess I'm ugly. It just disregards that so that you need to find value in other parts of you, like how you make other people feel, or just your energy and your essence. Then your perspective might shift from wanting to be seen to actually wanting to be felt, which I think is so much more rewarding. We need to stop looking at ourselves in the perception of how others will perceive us and more into the perception of how we ourselves perceive us. Because that we can 100% control ourselves. Plus, it will also impact how others see you, because if you feel like, wow, I kind of like myself, and it doesn't even need to be, wow, I love myself, I'm the best person in the world. No, it can really just be, wow, I kind of like myself. Like the difference that will make is incredible. Like if you view yourself in a positive light, that will shine through. And the outside world will see it. And I don't think that telling yourself that I'm the prettiest girl in the room, no one is prettier than me, that's not a solution. Like, of course, like telling yourself affirmations in the mirror is really good, like in the morning, but saying it like in comparison to others, then that's gonna get rocky. That's not stable. There will always be someone prettier than you. I'm sorry, but there will always be someone prettier than you. And that's okay. You weren't put on this earth to be the most pretty girl in the world. Like, you have better things to do than aspire to be that. There will always be someone prettier than you, and when that girl comes into the room, you're not going to feel good about yourself anymore. I don't want your confidence to deteriorate because in relative terms, you're not the most attractive one in the room anymore, according to your opinion. I want you to appreciate other women's beauty. I want you to send that woman love when she comes into the room. If you guys get eye contact, like, come on, tell her that she looks really good. Like, everybody loves to hear that. And you don't know anything about her. Maybe she doesn't feel herself at all. Maybe you coming up to her, maybe that's gonna make her day. And also, when you send other people good energy and love, like that's just gonna come right back to you. When you do that, I want you to intentionally tell yourself that, wow, how amazing am I that I can appreciate another woman's beauty without feeling inferior. Like, how amazingly secure and confident am I? And gosh, how beautiful is that? So with this, I want to say, let's stop this cycle of competition. Let's value ourselves and each other for more than just our looks. We disregard so much when we judge based on looks. There's an entire person behind there. Your intelligence, your kindness, your creativity, your strength, your expression, those are things that truly make you beautiful. There is no need to be the prettiest girl in the room, because let me tell you, your looks is the least interesting thing about you. Well, yeah, I guess I'm done now. thank you so much for watching. Whoever is watching this, I'm sending you so much happiness and love. I hope that you feel really good today. I hope that you feel pretty today. You should, because you're gorgeous. And yeah, I hope to see you again very, very soon.